guys, we are now focusing on our first subgenre of nonfiction, which is reference. You can find reference online, in print. You can read about anything from zoology to plants to animals to people to black holes. So today we're going to start, and the first thing I want you to do is make sure that you have the chart we just made beside you so that you can take notes. You're going to really be wanting to focus on what do you see in reference nonfiction. When we see reference nonfiction, how do we know that it's that genre? How do we know it's a reference book? So as we're learning and reading about a black hole, I want you to think about what tools the author uses to help you understand what a black hole is. So let's go ahead and jump right in. A black hole is not a hole is the title of this book. I'm going to go ahead and flip through it. First thing I noticed, it has some amazing pictures, photographs. And right here we see the table of context. That's an important text feature. It kind of lets us know right off the bat what we are going to be reading about, what the main idea of each chapter is. And if I flip through the book, I'm going to just kind of see, I see charts. I see diagrams and illustrations. I see pictures with labels, which are diagrams. I see a photograph there, charts. When I flip to the back, I see index, resource. I see a glossary, even with illustrations. So go ahead and stop and take note of some of the features that you see in this book on your chart. Okay, welcome back. Let's go ahead and get started reading about a black hole. But as we know, we have to always activate our schema. So pause, stop, and think about what do you already know about black holes. Welcome back. Let's get started. So we're going to start reading the introduction. Have you heard the news? In outer space, mysterious entities, called black holes seem up to no good. From the headlines, you'd think black holes were beasts with endless appetites, lying in wait for the next meal. By some reports, they are runaway, out-of-control predators that feed on galaxies only to belch and spit out what they don't eat. They lurk in the shadows, mangling stars and gobbling them up. In short, they have a nasty reputation for being monsters gone mad. But you know what? A black hole isn't a monster. It's not even alive. That means it can't lurk, eat, or belch. It has no dark, destructive desires. Of course, you may have already figured this out. But you know what else? A black hole is not a hole. At least not the kind you can dig in the ground or poke your finger through. You can't just walk along and fall into one. A black hole isn't a hole like that. If a black hole is not a hole, then what in the universe is it? Okay, that leads us right into chapter 1. We see this illustration. I see a caption here. I'm going to make sure that I want to focus on the fact that I'm going to read I've got main text, and then I've got a lot of aids and things around it to help me understand this main text better. So chapter 1, places with pull. A black hole is a place in space with a powerful pull. So right now I am already thinking about what kind of pull. I'm kind of visualizing it, especially when I look at these pictures, thinking about that pull that it would have. Way out beyond where you are right now, beyond the clouds, beyond the moon, beyond Pluto, beyond our solar system, space goes on and on. You could travel for trillions of miles and you'd barely get to the closest star. In another few trillion miles, you might pass another star. Space is that huge. Way out there, trillions, quadrillions, and even more illions of miles away are special places called black holes. These places in space are special because of their powerful pull on other things. A black hole's pull is the strongest pull in this entire universe. Nothing can out-tug a black hole. No army of tow trucks, no convoy of supersized earth haulers, no fleet of giant rocket engines. Not all of them combined. A black hole pulls in nearby dust. It pulls in nearby asteroids. It pulls in nearby stars and even nearby starlight. And no light, stars, asteroid, or dust comes out ever. Not ever. This picture right here, I kind of like. It points to the black hole and it says, "This way to the point of no return." And then the caption that's describing this picture says, "The super pulling power of a black hole is enough to haul in entire stars." In this artist's image, a black hole reels in glowing gas from a nearby star. The star itself is out of the picture frame. So, a good idea with nonfiction, at the end of each page, I want you to kind of stop and think, what did you learn? So we learned how strong the pull is in a black hole. We also learned that once in, you can never come out. Let's keep learning. Ooh. So on this page, I see a chart, I see a picture, I see a caption, and over here, I'm going to start with my main text. How far out is way out there? Black holes are way out beyond where you are right now, much farther away than the edge of our solar system. To talk about the distance to a black hole, you'd need a huge number. How huge? Well, in your everyday life, you probably travel only a few miles. At most, you might go tens of miles. Longer trips might be in the hundreds or even thousands of miles. In outer space, these distances would seem smaller than baby steps. Out there, you'd need to stock up on zeros to describe how far it is from one place to the other. I thought that was a really good comparison. From Earth to the sun, there's millions of miles. So we can come down here and see millions right here. That's how many zeros in millions. From the Earth to the next star, tens of trillions of miles. From the Earth to the nearest black hole, tens of quadrillions of miles. Distance across our galaxy, which is called the Milky Way, hundreds of quadrillions of miles. And distance across the observable universe, which may be smaller than the whole actual universe, is right here, the sextillions of miles. So this chart really helped you understand that. So I think we should add chart to our what we see in a reference nonfiction. Let's go ahead and read the caption. In the universe, enormous distances separate even close neighbors. The sun and Pluto, for instance, are a staggering 3,647,240,000 miles apart. Yet that's just a hop, skip, and a jump, astronomically speaking. And then it lets you know that these sizes are not accurate. Obviously, they're not that big. Okay, so we saw a lot on that page. A giant hole is like a giant whirlpool. So I like how this book is kind of giving me what I'm going to be reading about on each page. That kind of lets me activate my schema, think about what is a whirlpool. Have you ever pulled out a sink stopper and watched the water swirl down the drain? Spirals of water flow towards the center. You've made a small whirlpool. Imagine a bigger whirlpool in a river. Far away, nobody knows it's there. Boats chug and sail along. Schools of fish dart by, following their fishy urges. Closer to the whirlpool, it's a different story. A fish swimming near the whirlpool's edge feels a gentle tug as the current drags it toward the spinning center. No problem. With a little swish, the fish can speed up, giving itself the oomph to swim away. After getting some distance between itself and the whirlpool, the fish no longer feels the current's inward pull. But what if the fish drifted farther in? Closer to the center of the whirlpool, the pull would grow stronger. To escape the whirlpool, the fish would even have to swim faster than it had to the edge. Even closer to the middle, if the fish couldn't go much faster, it would find itself swept all the way in, stuck in the swirl, pulled around and round and round. A black hole works something like that whirlpool, even though a black hole's pull is the strongest in the universe. It's not strong from far away. Galaxies and stardust drifting through space don't get dragged into a distant black hole. However, near a black hole, gases and dust and stars encounter its tug. Some things may be hurtling by so fast they won't even get pulled into the black hole. Other things may not be as swift. They will be drawn in. Closer and closer, the tugging force gets stronger and stronger. Close enough, the black hole no longer acts like a whirlpool. And our caption for this picture says, the inward pull of a whirlpool gets stronger near its center. The closer a fish or anything else gets to the center, the more speed it needs to get out. And here we have our little heading again. Even though it's like a whirlpool, a black hole is not a whirlpool. With a whirlpool, there's always a fast enough fish or fast enough something that moves so quickly it won't be pulled all the way into the center. Not so with a black hole. Within a certain distance, the black hole's power is so strong, nothing is fast enough to zip away. This is a black hole's special trait. It's super pulling zone. Outside the zone, there's always the chance that something will zoom past and away. But anything that inside the zone stays in the black hole's place in space forever. Nothing else in the universe is so inescapable. So a black hole is not a whirlpool. It just sort of acts like one. There's another difference. In a whirlpool, the swirling current of water draws the fish into the center. But a black hole isn't made of water. Something else drives its pulling power. And let me read the caption. Like a fish caught in the whirlpool, colorful glowing gases swirl toward a black hole. The dark center marks the black hole's super pulling zone. So, we're going to continue to learn more about the pulling power on Thursday. So we're going to go ahead and stop today because we really just wanted to focus on what did we notice about nonfiction. So let's go ahead and take some notes on reference if you haven't yet, and then head on to the next slide to learn about your next subgenre.